The Meridian Grand Hotel's annual charity gala was the pinnacle of luxury in New York City. Crystal chandeliers cast diamond-like reflections across marble floors as the elite mingled in designer evening wear worth more than most people's annual salaries. Ethan Morgan moved silently through the ballroom, gray uniform blending into the background as he swept away champagne flutes and cocktail napkins. At 34, he had mastered the art of invisibility, head down, movements efficient, presence forgettable. That's how the wealthy preferred their service staff. Present when needed, invisible otherwise. "Excuse me," a woman's voice cut through. His concentration. "There's a spill by the east entrance." Ethan looked up into the cold eyes of Sophia Blackwell, heiress to the Blackwell media empire and this year's gala chairwoman. Her midnight blue gown hugged her figure, diamonds glittering at her throat and wrists. "Right away, Miss Blackwell," he replied, keeping his voice neutral despite the dismissive flick of her hand dot as he maneuvered his cleaning cart across the room. The orchestra struck up a waltz. Couples floated across the floor, a synchronized display of privilege and grace. Ethan paused, watching their movements with an intensity that would have surprised anyone who noticed. But someone did notice. "Do you dance?" The question came from an elderly gentleman in an impeccably tailored tuxedo, leaning on a silver-tipped cane. Ethan's hands tightened on his broom. "No, sir, just cleaning." "Nonsense," the man chuckled. "Your eyes follow the rhythm too precisely. You understand. Dance." Before Ethan could respond, Sophia appeared beside them. "Mr. Reynolds, I've been looking for you." She smiled warmly at the old man before her gaze hardened on Ethan. "Is there a problem here?" "Not at all," Mr. Reynolds replied. "I was just speaking with this young man about dancing." "Sophia's perfectly." Arched eyebrow rose. "Dancing? With the janitor?" Her laughter was like glass breaking sharp and dangerous. "Perhaps we should invite him to perform for us? Entertain the guests with a mop routine?" Several nearby conversations paused as heads turned. Ethan felt heat crawl up his neck. "I should get back to work," he murmured. "No, wait." Sophia's red lips curved into a cruel smile. "I'm serious. Show us what you can do, janitor. Unless you're only good at pushing a broom?" The challenge hung in the air. Ethan knew he should walk away. This job paid his rent, covered his mother's medical bills. He couldn't risk it for pride, but some wounds run too deep to ignore. "Actually," Mr. Reynolds interjected, his aged voice carrying surprising authority, "I'd very much like to see that." The crowd's attention fixed on Ethan, caught in the spotlight of their curiosity and Sophia's mockery. His heart hammered against his ribs. 6 years since he'd last danced. 6 years since the accident that destroyed his career and left him picking up the pieces of shattered dreams. Sophia's smirk widened as she gestured to the dance floor. "Well, we're waiting." Ethan slowly set his broom against the wall. Whatever happened next would change everything. The ballroom fell into expectant silence as Ethan stepped onto the polished floor. The orchestra hesitated, musicians exchanging uncertain glances. Sophia's triumphant smile gleamed under the chandelier. Light she had successfully humiliated the help for everyone's entertainment. "Play something with passion," Mr. Reynolds called to the conductor. "Tchaikovsky, perhaps?" As the first stirring notes of Swan Lake filled the air, Ethan closed his eyes. His body remembered what his mind had tried to forget years of discipline. Sacrifice and devotion poured into every muscle and sinew. The music flowed through him like electricity awakening a dormant machine. His first movement was hesitant, almost fragile. Then, as though shedding an invisible weight, Ethan's body transformed. His limbs extended with impossible grace, each turn and leap executed with technical perfection that betrayed years of classical training. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones emerged to capture the moment that Janitor, in gray workwear, performing ballet that would humble professionals. Sophia's smile vanished. Who is he? She whispered to no one in particular. The music swelled, and Ethan lost himself completely. Here was the freedom he'd abandoned. The language his soul spoke before life crushed his aspirations. His jumps defied gravity. His turns were flawless. Without a partner, he danced both role strength and delicacy intertwined. When the music faded, Ethan stood motionless, chest heaving. For several heartbeats, no one moved. Then applause erupted, tentative at first, building to thunderous appreciation. Mr. Reynolds approached, eyes glistening with emotion. "You're Ethan Morgan," he stated rather than asked. "Principal dancer. With the Metropolitan Ballet until the accident." Ethan nodded, reality crashing back as he spotted his supervisor's shocked expression from across the room. "I should go," he mumbled, moving toward his abandoned broom. "Wait." Sophia blocked his path, her expression unreadable. "You were with the Metropolitan? Why are you working as a janitor?" Her question held genuine confusion rather than mockery. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Dance doesn't pay medical bills, Miss Blackwell. Not after a car accident shatters your knee." Understanding dawned in her eyes. Everyone in the dance world had heard about the promising career, cut short by tragedy, the dancer who disappeared completely from the spotlight. "Reynolds Foundation underwrites the Metropolitan," Mr. Reynolds said quietly. "We've been developing a new program for injured dancers. Teaching positions, choreography, apprenticeships." Ethan's heart stuttered. "I don't need charity." "It's not charity," Reynolds replied firmly. "It's reclamation of talent. The ballet needs people who understand both greatness and loss." As whispers circulated through the ballroom, Ethan felt the weight of choices not yet made. His fingers twitched toward the broom, the safe option, the path of invisibility. Sophia surprised him by touching his arm lightly. "Sometimes," she said, her voice lacking its earlier edge, "we need to be forced into the spotlight to remember who we really are." The night that began with mockery was evolving into something unexpected, something that felt dangerously like hope. The morning after the gala, Ethan arrived at work expecting termination. Instead, his supervisor handed him a sealed envelope. "Call came from upstairs," the man said gruffly. "Take the day off." Inside the envelope was a business card embossed, with gold lettering, "Sophia Blackwell, Executive Director, Blackwell Arts Foundation." On the back, handwritten in elegant script, "Meet me. 2 p.m. The Metropolitan." Ethan's fingers trembled. The Metropolitan Ballet had been his home for 6 years before the accident. He hadn't set foot inside since at precisely 2 p.m. he stood before. The imposing building, dressed in the best clothes he owned, jeans without holes and a faded blue button-down. Security waved him through immediately. "They're waiting in Studio A," the guard said. The word echoed ominously as Ethan navigated familiar hallways, memories rushing back with each step. Studio A was the largest rehearsal space, reserved for principal dancers and distinguished guests. He pushed open the door to find Sophia in conversation with Mr. Reynolds, and a woman he instantly recognized, Madame Irina Baranovskaya, the Metropolitan's legendary artistic director. "Mr. Morgan." Madame Baranovskaya's accent was still thick despite decades in America. "It has been too long." Ethan swallowed hard. "Madame." Sophia stepped forward in a simple black dress that probably cost more than his monthly rent. Without last night's makeup and formal attire, she looked younger, less intimidating, though no less beautiful. "Thank you for coming," she said. "After last night, we had to act quickly." "I don't understand what I'm doing here," Ethan replied honestly. Mr. Reynolds smiled. "You're being offered a second chance." For the next hour, they outlined a proposal so unexpected Ethan wondered if he was dreaming. The Reynolds-Blackwell Initiative for Artistic Recovery, a new program designed to rehabilitate injured dancers and transition them to teaching and choreography. Ethan would be the first participant, serving as both test case and eventual mentor. "Why me?" he finally asked. "Because you feel guilty about mocking the janitor?" Sophia flinched, but held his gaze. "Partially, yes. I behaved abominably. But primarily because when you danced, you reminded everyone in that room why art matters." "Your injury was devastating," Madame Baranowskaya added. "But what you showed last night was that the artist remains even when the body fails." Ethan's throat tightened. "I can't go back to what I was." "No one can," Mr. Reynolds said gently. "We're offering you the chance to become something new." As they discussed logistics, salary, schedule, expectations, Ethan found himself watching. Sophia, the haughty socialite, had been replaced by a passionate advocate, articulating vision and practicalities with equal fervor. When the meeting concluded, she walked him out. "I misjudged you," Ethan admitted as they reached the street. "Most people do," she replied with unexpected vulnerability. "The Blackwell heiress, born with a silver spoon. They don't see the work." Their eyes met, recognition of mutual misunderstanding passing between them. "I still don't trust this," Ethan said. Sophia's smile was genuine. "You don't have to trust the opportunity. Just don't waste it." As she walked away, Ethan realized the spotlight he'd inadvertently stepped into might illuminate a path he never thought possible. 3 months into the Reynolds-Blackwell Initiative, Ethan's life had transformed beyond recognition. His gray janitor's uniform hung forgotten in his closet as he moved through the world of dance. Again, not as a performer, but as a teacher. A mentor, a creator got his first class of recovering dancers looked to him with hope he wasn't sure he deserved. His damaged knee still ached on cold mornings, a permanent reminder of limitations. But watching his students rediscover movement brought unexpected fulfillment. Sophia attended every showcase, her presence evolving from oversight to genuine support. Their initial antagonism had mellowed into professional respect, then cautious friendship. Coffee after rehearsals became dinners, discussing program expansion. Her wealth and connections opened doors. His experience and resilience gave the initiative authenticity. Everything was proceeding perfectly until the Metropolitan's annual fundraiser gala. Ironically, 1 year after their first encounter, the event gathered the city's elite, including Sophia's father, Maxwell Blackwell, who had been overseas during the program's development. Maxwell was old money and old ideas, viewing his daughter's philanthropic ventures as charming distractions rather than serious endeavors. "So this is your pet project," Maxwell remarked, eyeing Ethan with the dismissive gaze of someone assessing furniture rather than a person. "The dancing janitor." Sophia tensed beside Ethan. "Father, this is Ethan Morgan, our program director." "Yes." Quite inspiring. Maxwell's smile never reached his eyes. "Though I question the sustainability of rehabilitating broken dancers. The arts require excellence, not charity cases." The words landed like physical blows. Ethan maintained his composure. Years of enduring whispered comments about his fall from grace having armored him against such cruelty. "With respect, Mr. Blackwell," he replied evenly, "our program doesn't offer charity. It recognizes that artistic value extends beyond perfect physical execution." Maxwell's eyebrow arched. Bold statement from someone mopping floors a year ago. "Father." Sophia's cheeks flushed with anger. "It's all right," Ethan placed a calming hand on her arm. "Your father's entitled to his opinion." Later, as donors circulated through demonstrations of the program's success, Ethan found himself alone on a balcony, breathing in cool night air. "I apologize for my father," Sophia said, joining him. "He's from a different era." "He's not wrong about excellence," Ethan replied. But he's wrong about what constitutes it. Sophia moved closer, her perfume mingling with the night air. When I saw you dance that first night, I recognized something I've spent my life searching for: authenticity, not perfection. Their proximity felt dangerous, complicated by professional boundaries and social divides that still existed despite everything. "Why did you really start this program?" Ethan asked. "Because I needed to make amends," she admitted. "But it became more than that. It became something I believe in." She paused. "Something I believe in with you." The weight of her words hung between them as music drifted from inside. Beneath the stars, with the city sprawled before them, they stood at another crossroads, between caution and courage, between past wounds and future possibilities. "Dance with me?" She whispered this time. Ethan didn't hesitate to take her hand. The Metropolitan spring season opened with unprecedented buzz. The Reynolds-Blackwell initiative had expanded to include a performance division featuring dancers who had overcome career-threatening injuries. Critics approached with skepticism, but left converted by raw emotional power that transcended technical limitations. At the center stood Ethan, no longer performing, but choreographing pieces that transformed perceived weaknesses into unique artistic expressions. His work challenged conventional standards of dance while honoring classical foundations. Sophia attended every rehearsal, her business acumen ensuring the program's financial stability, while her growing artistic sensitivity influenced its creative direction. Their partnership blossomed professionally, even as they carefully navigated the personal connection that had deepened since the night of the fundraiser. After the triumphant opening night, the company gathered at an exclusive rooftop restaurant. Champagne flowed as critics' glowing reviews circulated on smartphones. "To new beginnings," Mr. Reynolds toasted, his eyes twinkling as he glanced between Ethan and Sophia. Maxwell Blackwell arrived fashionably late, commanding attention as he approached their table. "It appears I may have been hasty in my assessment," he announced without preamble, nodding curtly to Ethan. Tonight's performance was moving. From Maxwell, this constituted effusive praise. Sophia squeezed Ethan's hand beneath the table. "Thank you, sir," Ethan replied. "That means a great deal." As the evening progressed, Sophia led Ethan to a quiet corner overlooking the city lights. "1 year ago, I mocked you for being a janitor," she said softly. "I was cruel and thoughtless." "And I was hiding," Ethan admitted, "using my injury as an excuse to disappear from a world that had defined me." "We've both changed," she whispered. "You showed me it's possible to redefine yourself without erasing your past," he said, touching her cheek gently. "To step into a different spotlight without forgetting the shadows that shaped you." Their kiss was inevitable, the culmination of a year's journey from contempt to respect to something deeper neither had anticipated. The following morning, their photograph appeared in the society pages. Blackwell heiress and former janitor. Unlikely romance blooms from revolutionary dance program. Ethan braced for Sophia's dismay at the public exposure of their private moment. Instead, she laughed as she showed him the article over breakfast. "Are you bothered?" he asked cautiously. "Being linked to the former janitor?" "I'm proud," she replied without hesitation. "Of you, of us, of what we've built together." 6 months later, on the anniversary of that first mocking challenge, too. Dance, Ethan returned to the Meridian Grand Hotel, not as staff, but as an honored guest speaking about artistic resilience. The same ballroom that had witnessed his humiliation now applauded his vision. As he concluded his speech, he found Sophia's eyes in the audience. "Sometimes," he told the crowd, "being mocked and forced into the spotlight becomes the greatest gift. It strips away pretense and reveals truth about ourselves and others." His gaze never left Sophia as he continued. "We all wear uniforms of one kind or another, designer gowns, or gray maintenance clothes, that let others categorize us, dismiss us, or elevate us without seeing who we truly are. He extended his hand toward her, an echo of that first dance a year before. The real spotlight worth stepping into illuminates authenticity in art, in life, and in love. As Sophia joined him, the audience rose in standing ovation, witnessing not just a performance, but a transformation complete from mockery to respect, from invisibility to recognition, from isolation to connection. The spotlight that once exposed vulnerability now celebrated strength reborn.